This is my recap of Rupaul's Drag Race Season 6, Episode 8, Drag Queens of Comedy. So I guess we had 2 episodes last week, so how awesome is that? We open up with Laganja, who was on top last week, saying, "Oh, I know the other queens think that Adore carried me, but she didn't," which is hilarious because no one else was actually saying that. That was just like Laganja just like throwing up her own critique of what she thought people were thinking about her, which I don't know if anyone was or wasn't, but there you go. I have to say that I've decided that Bianca is my spirit animal. Says what I want to say and says it much better than me. So we go into the mini challenge, which is they're going to be lip syncing, and they do that thing where you flip over backwards and you put like eyes on your chin and then you like lip sync. And Jocelyn Fox wins. Okay, I'm going to give up on this. This is like the 9th episode I've said this. I didn't notice that anyone was better than anyone else. So I think RuPaul just picks whoever they think will kind of cause the most trouble when they get their bonus. So we're going to be doing a comedy show. This is really Bianca's game to win or lose. That's her thing, comedy, a lot of pressure for her. And everyone breaks up into their different areas to kind of write their script, and Jocelyn gets to set the order, and we don't really know until the last minute. And Ben de la Creme really calls out Laganja on what I feel like I've been saying for weeks on end, which is that Laganja is playing this role. And it's not even a funny role. I don't even like it. So whoever Laganja's playing, play someone else, because I find the whole thing grating. Every time she goes, "Okay," I just want to like my skin wants to crawl off. I find it so annoying. It's like a 13-year-old that has like their cool phrase, and you're not going, "Oh, that's so interesting and insightful" when you use it. You're just like, stop. Okay. So Ben had been called out for playing a character, and she's like, "Well, Laganja kind of does it." Laganja's always purposely doing really weird things in a kind of inauthentic way. For instance, all of those interviews, I could do a script more realistically than what Laganja says in her interviews. They've all clearly, like, she's written it out ahead of time, and she's delivering in this really inauthentic way. I don't know who this person is. I don't know that she is anywhere other than maybe talking to the judges shown any true emotion. I know that's really harsh, but that's how it is. That's how I feel about it, and I've been saying it for weeks, so if you go back through my recaps, you'll see it's consistent. Anyway, I'm going to go through the performances in the order that they performed. So Darian comes out, had to open. I'm a little over Darian just because constantly picking at Ben. I feel like just kind of, it's just mean. So I, perform really well, but I couldn't really enjoy it because I'm kind of tainted against, based on the attitude they've been doing. But clearly Darian's going to be safe, no doubt about it. Performed really well. Courtney had a pretty strong act. Relied a lot on singing, so there was kind of a split in the judges, whether that was smart to play to her strengths or whether that was her avoiding the challenge, but clearly she's going to be safe. Adore was both high and low for me, so had some really good jokes and then kind of faltered and relied a lot on cussing, which isn't necessarily that funny, and I think when people don't enjoy it, it kind of, you can see her kind of get into a tailspin and just cussing more and more. Ben de la Creme, there were jokes in there. I don't know if they were going too fast or what it was, but it didn't feel funny. I could see there were jokes and, about people being regular and this and that, but it just didn't quite land, and then she got heckled off the stage, which was incredibly awkward. I mean, that's the problem with this challenge, is that because the whole thing's supposed to be funny, if anything's not funny, it just crashes and burns. So that's like kind of the awkward part of this. Laganja, super awkward, kept relying on that mannerisms that annoy me. And you could see Michelle was like in the same boat with me, where like every time, Laganja would say, "Okay," Michelle would like flinch. And I was like, thank you, I'm glad someone else has noticed this. And then the whole act was built around pot. And just saying I do pot a lot is not actually a joke. "Oh, I'm into pot, I'm into reefer, I'm into marijuana." That's not a joke. That's just a statement. So if I'm like, "Oh, I like archery and I like shooting bows," and "Oh, look at me, I'm so zany, I like archery," that's not actually an act. So I felt like that was it was really weak, and it was all built around, like, I guess how alternative it is because they like pot. I don't know. I live in Colorado, so it's hardly like this big taboo anymore, at least for people in the state. Anyway, Trinity blew me away. Way, way funnier than expected. Super strong performance. Like, not even grading on a curve, just flat out was funny. So that is the first time that I've seen Trinity and I've gone, I like that person. Wherever that came from, that is what she needs to be doing more of, because she's already got the pretty thing down. This is interesting to me. I of course am a sucker for comedy, so maybe that's just my bias, but I loved it. Jocelyn was sort of wah, wah. There were some good jokes, and then the rest kind of flopped. I think Jocelyn's actually pretty funny, though, when she talks in an interview and she cracks herself up and she, like, cracks a joke and no one laughs. I'm laughing. I think it's hilarious, but that's beside the point. And, of course, Bianca nails it. So funny. Loving her more and more every week. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about her. When I heard insult comic, I'm like, great. She's going to try to be funny the whole season. And you know, it's going to be like that annoying class clown that's not even that funny. I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong. I mean, I haven't really been down on her, but I kept thinking that eventually I would. And I'm just not getting there. I'm actually really liking her more and more every week. So she kind of started in the middle. I was unsure, and she just keeps climbing for me. So, so I love it. I really appreciate that Michelle called out Laganja, and Laganja and Jocelyn ended up in the bottom. They do their lip sync, and Laganja goes home. It was about time. I don't think Jocelyn's going to be with us too much longer, but it was definitely time for Laganja to go home. So anyway, I am all caught up on this show, so I look forward to seeing the next one.